Yo, team. Oh, yeah, we're recording. I like your shoes.
Thank you. They are the Nike Silver Bullets.
I love it.
John got them for me a long time ago.
Nice.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of the Peasant Party podcast. Annabelle's wearing cool shoes, and so am I.
Thanks.
It's starting to
No, you look good. You look really good.
Thanks.
Did you like dress up for work or what?
Well, partially that, and then also like mom was like, "You always wear sweatshirts when you're on camera," and I was like, "I've trying to like figure out like what looks good." I've always been like an all black attire person, except when it's hot out, it's hard to do that. And then I saw it was rainy, so I seized the opportunity to go all black.
It looks good.
Thank you. But yeah, once it cools down, it'll be all like black leggings, combat boots, all that.
I know. It just started raining for the first time in like many months. I was walking up and it was raining a little bit, so
My hair looks like shit.
just a test. The street smells like
Asphalt.
pungent urine. Like
Don't say pungent urine ever again.
Pungent urine. Okay.
What's new with you?
it's
I'm
gross.
your host, Charlotte Warren, by the way. I always explain. Everyone's like, you have to introduce yourself at the beginning. Who are you?
I'm Annabelle Warren.
What's
also.
new with you?
Golly, what is new with me? No, well, nothing. I don't know. Same shit, different day. I'm still kind of going through it. It was kind of like a whole, 4-day long breakup. And actually, just before this, I went and I dropped a bunch of my ex's stuff like on basically the hood of his car. I was like, well, you want me to drive all the way down to your house to drop? Like, here you go, bitch. Oh, perfect.
We're all good. Cool.
That's where I'm at. But I cleaned my entire apartment today. Ceiling, floor, like, got rid of all his shit, put it in a bag, donated a ton of my clothes. Like, I feel so...
That's a good feeling.
It's an amazing feeling, dude. It's an amazing feeling. It really does feel like I've unfollowed him.
Good.
He was muted. He was muted for our entire relationship, but I unfollowed him because I was like, I don't even want to see it. I've muted all his friends. Like, it's, I feel like you have to in order to...
Good. And I feel like doing it sooner after a relationship ends is the move. Like, some people... Yeah. Because I feel like some people are like, I just don't feel like blocking them or deleting them yet or, like, doing all these things. Yeah. And then it's like, I feel like the longer it gets away from it, then it becomes weird. Then it becomes a thing. Like, what made you block them this day or something?
And I don't want to, like... You go for... I feel like I've seen friends go through this, too. Like, oh, my God, my best friend Marnie went through this. Like, my friends have done this where, like, they break up with their boyfriend, and in those first, like, few days afterwards, they're like, no, it's not him. It's both of us. Like, really, it was so sad, and, like, we didn't meet... And then it's like, me as her friend from the outside, I'm like, that guy was a dickhead to you. He was a dickhead to you, and you are making excuses for him still, even after this breakup. And then it's not until like another month down the line where you start getting mad. Yeah. Where you start, like, the memories kind of start coming back, and you start putting little pieces together. And you're like, damn, I'm no longer like sad about this. I'm just kind of like pissed. Yeah. And I'm trying to keep myself from allowing that resentment to boil over to the point where I text him like, I know about the girl or whatever,
Yeah, that's why the blocking is so important. Like, it's just, you can't make it too easy to communicate. Like, you've got to, like, it's for yourself. It's not, like, it's not about them, it's for you. And, I think nobody is like, oh, you blocked them after a breakup. Like, how extreme. Right. But if you, like, do it, like, at a later date, I feel like it maybe sends more of a statement. I don't know. It's good to, like, just...
it kind of does, huh? Like, if you wait too long and then you block them...
It's like, what is the catalyst for this?
And it just causes, like, kind of a little unnecessary, like, uptick of drama. Like, get it all over with all at once towards the beginning, and then down the line, like your emotions can really only peter out from there, I feel.
Oh, totally. I block numbers. I block everything. Like, I'm so, like, liberal with my block button. Like, I block on Instagram.
Should I block his number?
So I think blocking numbers are useful because it's like, oh my God, that sounds so extreme. You would think, like, I don't know, some people correlate blocking a number as being for, the people that are, like, harassing you and, like, social media, whatever, but you have the number as, like, a last resort. I think no, because, like, I think the number is what makes it way too easy for, like, say you have, like, you're lonely one night or something, or, like, whether they're out drinking, like, you're out drinking, something like that happens, and then you, like, either have a fit of rage and text them something like to get off your chest, or it's like you're lonely or something like that, or it's not even you, it's them, and then it's just all that much easier to like get in touch that way. So I think like just having the numbers unblocked like keeps that door open. And then people say like, oh well, what if there's some sort of an emergency? It's like, if there's some sort of an emergency, like I think like going around a block is a creepy thing to do, but like if there's some sort, like say he's implicated in a murder case that he didn't do and needs you to come as a witness, like he has your phone number in that sense, where it's like if he really needs to contact you, it involves like an extra step versus like drunken just like hit the call button. Like he has to go and be like, okay, the next day, like, hey, like I gotta come to you with something more serious. Like
also I don't know, I feel like the whole relationship was just me helping him when he needed it to, so like I don't even want to give him the avenue to a few weeks down the line be like, I'm sad and lonely and I'm depressed and I'm gonna do something like
it's a door, and phones
not my problem.
Phones make these things like way easier, like like a phone that's always in your pocket makes these things easier.
This fool was trying to text break up with me for like the second time, and I was like, hey, can you call me actually and not do like the lowest possible effort thing, like the text breakup.
No,
you got be a goddamn adult. I don't think I've ever done that. I don't think I've ever broken up with anyone.
Not a committed relationship for me, but I've done that because I think actually a hot take, I think the world would be a better place if we had more breakups. Not in a sense of like actual relationships.
Hot
I think
take.
Well, no, but if you think about like a lot of times, like, people will have these they're dating somebody, but they never establish it as a relationship. Maybe it's a situation. I don't know. But, maybe sometimes someone sees it as going toward a relationship. But a lot of times, like, those types of things drop off. You go on some dates. Oof, this person isn't it. But what happens a lot of times is there's not really a real tangible ending for it. Like, some will call it a ghosting. Some will call it a fizzle. Like, two people just kind of stop talking to one another. And when there's not really that, like, concrete ending, the door, it's just sort of easy to come back to that person. There's no consequence for it. It's like, if, down the line, oh, that person that fizzled out, oh, like, hey, they were kind of fun, like, are you out tonight kind of thing. Like, if there's some sort of tangible ending, like, hey, like, this was fun, but, I just don't see this becoming a relationship. Like, you're less likely to get those texts. You're less tempted to send those texts to people that aren't the right fit for you. So just having more of these endings. And I'm someone, I think I've told you how much I used to like hate breakup texts like back in the day just because of like, I don't know, guys.
Condescending, yes, it's rude.
Yes. Or so like, but like I do think they're useful. I think they're useful when they're short and they have no adjectives and no condescending talk.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So I have a question, and not to derail you, but I was thinking about this today. I guess to start, what is a situationship? Can you describe that to me at all? Because I'm trying to figure out if what I just got out of was like a situationship left over from a relationship.
Yes. So a situationship, in my take, so some people think, that any sort of dating situation that doesn't result in a relationship is somehow a situationship. I disagree with that.
Okay, because he was not posting me, refused to post me. I tried to post him, and then he wouldn't, and so I like took it down. So that, to me, I was like, this is a situationship. You want to look single, right?
So I think there's I think that's a whole other thing. But like, so a situationship to me is at least one person. So you got your two parties. You've got at least one person in those two parties who does not see what you're doing as leading toward anything.
What the
they might be behaving, because there's some people where their version of casual, I've always said like situationship, casual exists on a spectrum. Someone says they're looking for something casual, ask them what their version of casual is. To some people it's a one night stand. Some people it's like doing all the motions of a relationship but just not having the responsibility or the title. Like it just gives you that last little out. Yeah. And some people, that is their version of casual, and they're going about that, and then, to another person, because of the actions or like, little hints in the form of, oh, hey, we're going on real dates. They're like, okay, cool, we're dating. Or I have said, like, and I truly believe this, I think there is a healthy version of a situationship. I think it's more rare, but you've got like, I don't know, two people that are on a work assignment for 2 months in a different city or something like that, like that kind of thing. But that is a situationship where it's at least one person in those two parties consciously knows it's going nowhere. Maybe they saw it as going somewhere at one point, but they have consciously decided, they maybe haven't said it aloud. They've consciously decided like, oh, I'm just having fun. This isn't going to be anything.
Interesting.
The thing is, like, with relationships...
Sorry, just one person?
One of the two.
Okay, but if both of them know that it's not going anywhere...
It's still a situationship. It just has to be one of the two.
Well, at least one.
At least one. Yes. And I think the posting thing, like, I think there's people who want to be in actual committed relationships who also want to appear single. They want to have their cake and eat it, too. Like, they want to...
Boo!
Like, because there is, like, more you get out of a relationship in some capacities, because that person is a bit more responsible to you. Like a situationship, yeah, you might maybe get, like, the dates and stuff, but, like, are they really that shoulder to cry on if, you know, a loved one dies and you need someone to, like, hold your hand at a funeral, like, that kind of thing. So, there's absolutely people who want to, you know, have a relationship and then also appear single.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know that posting would be it. If you guys never had a conversation of, like, what are we doing here or something, like,
Oh, we argued about it, but it kind of, and I feel like I've, you know, heard this argument from men before where they just immediately become like, it's not even like that. I just don't post, like, personal stuff, and I just don't blah, 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 blah. And, like, I'm not hiding you from anyone. But, like, ultimately, I think, yeah, it kind of comes down to that, right? Unless, like, you're using your Instagram very specifically for a business or whatever, and you only post work things on your story or whatever. But, like, posting a girl on your story that you're dating, like, I think is, honestly, it's polite, and it's, like, a sign of, like, respect, and I'm taking up your time, and, like, I don't know, I want to show you off a little, I guess.
Oh, totally. And I think, like, and I've said to people, and I truly think if there's no obvious signs of a significant other on someone's Instagram or social media, it is, I don't want to say safe to assume they're single, but, like, it's almost like you're not doing anything weird or wrong if you, like, DM them because you think they're attractive. It's like, it's safe to assume. It's like, okay, cool. Like, no signs of a significant other. Like, if you scroll back and, like, oh, it's 2 years ago, and maybe you follow the Instagram for a week and, like, nobody pops up. Okay, cool. Like, fair game. So I do think, like, there's something about appearing single. Like, you know, there's different versions of why people want to appear single. Like, and sometimes people will hide behind the ones that sound more acceptable.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I will say, like, some things that, you know, do happen, like, there's, if you use Instagram for business, you're some sort of influencer, there's more money to be made in appearing single. And I know he kind of used his for business in some ways, but, like, yeah, there's more money to be made if you appear single in the form of, like, brand deals. Also, like, thirsty people, and, like, followers, like, likes are a currency, followers are a currency. Like, have you ever, like, revealed a significant other on Instagram and then, like, just, like, the followers just drop?
Yes.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I'm not afraid to post a significant other. Like, I really...
No, me either.
If I'm dating somebody, especially somebody hot, like, I don't want to hide them. I'm showing them off. Like, I'm stoked, and I'm, like, with this person, and I take pictures of the things that I do during the day and the people that I'm with and the things that I love, and, like, that's a part of my life, you know? I would feel, honestly, like, deceptive and mean if I was hiding somebody that I'm dating. If I really like someone, like, my Instagram is a lot of, like, kind of, like, thoughty modeling pictures and stuff among, like, my work stuff, but, like, if I had a man and we really loved each other, I'm posting it. I don't care. I want people to know. That's tight. We look cool as a couple, you know?
How long do you have to wait before you post them, though?
I don't care. I'm insane.
Like, so. Like, the second you say we're in a relationship, you find the best picture you've taken so far, bam, you go up?
No, I don't. It's,
or do you, like,
actually,
is it, like,
no, I'm so into the soft launch. I think the soft launch is sick. Like, a fingernail.
How much do you ease into it?
How
much do you ease into it through soft launch? How long does your soft launch last?
Ooh, not long, probably. Not long. After that, like, depending on, we'll amp each other up, probably, you know, but...
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
So.
Nice. Well, today, our episode name of the game is actually, we're going to talk about cute versus creepy in a lot of different ways.
God,
yeah.
Okay, I'm excited.
So, yeah, I guess to, like, kick it off, like, our quick hit question is, do you think there is merit to the whole idea of, and some people will say, like, you know, you'd find it cute if you were into it, you'd think it was cute. If you're not into them, you find it creepy.
Ooh,
Do you think there's weight to that statement? And to be like a bit more specific, that sort of idea was shared on the How I Met Your Mother show, both of our not favorite show. But they do do a lot of little dating theories. They called it the Dobler-Dahmer Theory. The exact quote of that theory is, if both people are into each other, a big romantic gesture works. But if one person isn't into it, the same gesture comes off serial killer creepy, like Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. I'm trying to think. So in this instance, we are basically weighing like two parallel circumstances where in one, you and this person have known each other for the exact same amount of time as you and this other person, right? So like the guy that you find creepy versus the guy that you find attractive. Like, let's just say you've known them both for the exact same amount of time. There's no time difference in between this, right?
I think it's more around the action. So say someone sent you flowers to your work.
Okay. Yes.
If you liked the person.
But if I had just met them, even though I was really into them, I still might see it as a little bit of a red flag. I might see it as like a little bit pushy or love bomby, right? But if I had been dating them for like a week or so,
say your 2 dates, you just
two fantastic dates.
Fantastic kind of indicates how you feel about them.
Okay, sure.
You had two dates. Maybe one of them you thought this date was fine. The other you're like, I can't wait for the third date. You go into work and there is a vase full of flowers. Paco says to you, "There's someone sent you flowers."
I would die. That would be so sweet. Like if you go on a date that you really enjoy and you really like this person and you're excited to see them again and they beat you to the punch with some flowers, I would feel so validated in my feelings, you know? Because at that point you're kind of trying to hide a little bit. You're kind of trying to like nonchalant it, you know? You don't want to seem too excited, but if
you weren't into them,
if you're not into them,
would it be like this person,
I'd be concerned.
This is too much?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you think it also comes like self-social awareness is like a factor too? Like when you have a date that isn't great, do you feel like you send that like you're very animated about it? Like most humans would know that you weren't enjoying yourself, like that kind of thing. Like someone wouldn't like.
No, I don't know. I'm an empath. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So even if I'm on like a weird date where the guy is like annoying and talks only about himself and what, you know, like I think I can be driven over the line. Like there is a point where if you're being like rude and weird enough, I'm just gonna snap at you. I'm gonna hit you with it. But like for the most part, if it's somebody that I'm just kind of like not feeling, but they're nice enough, like they would get the same exact person that the guy you liked would, and they would send you flowers, and you'd think, oh, this is weird. Probably. Or yeah, I just wouldn't, the indicators that I did not want anything further wouldn't be totally clear. I don't know. I definitely have a problem with that. I've always had a problem with that. I'm starting as I've gotten older, I'm starting to like build I don't know. I'm becoming more fearless around men. So yeah, at that point, yeah, I'm less afraid to like hurt somebody's feelings, knowing that my time and my safety is on the line. Oh, totally. And I think like, I don't want to like get too tangenty, but like I think it's something you learn when you get older. Like for example, I feel like when we were younger, if you didn't like, and think of it, because like we'd be in like not elementary school, but like middle school, high school, and you'd have to like see if there was a boy that liked you in your class that you didn't like back. You'd have to like see them every day. So there was always like the boy that likes you that you don't like back. That it was always very obvious, and they would be clingy and run around. And like if you would ask your teacher or your counselor or your mom for help, they would say, okay, what you say is, hey, like you're very nice, but I only see you as a friend. Yeah. And when you would say that, you didn't mean like we're going to stick around and be buddies. We're going to be friends. It was just one of those where like you have to see him every day. Like, like you just say, let's be friends or something like that. Yeah. And it was just, that was the advice we were told to give, even though we didn't mean it, even though we really just wanted to get as far away as possible from that guy. And then lo and behold, like as you get older, like I think that advice sticks with women. And then all of a sudden this friend zone thing pops up. And I think it sticks with, I know for me for a long time, like I thought that was like the nice way to say no to somebody. And as I've gotten older, I don't say like let's be friends. I say like, oh, I don't feel a spark. Like I don't
because first off, I didn't mean the friendship thing. Second of all, I think for men, it's just, they go down, there's some that go down the road of like, they friend zone me. Like, and it's just like
kind of triggering, huh? To be like, we should just be friends. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah. So like, it's one of those where like back when I was younger, not as aware, I thought that was like a nicer way to say no to somebody. And I grew out of that because I realized it didn't help me. It didn't help anybody else.
Yeah, totally.
But, yeah, that was my kind of tangent there. But so the cute if you're into it, creepy if you're not into it. Do you think that there's a line for that though? Like, is there ever a point where it's like, no, that sentiment doesn't apply here?
I'm not sure. Do you have an example?
So I think my kind of like rule of thumb is if it was a creepy thing, if anybody did it, it doesn't apply. Like,
okay,
I think because like the ick is a thing.
Yes.
Like, I think if you had a great second date.
Okay, wait, can I?
But yeah, like you have a great second date and then you get into work and it's not like a vase of flowers. It's a vial of their blood and a note that says like, I think this is so romantic. Here, take a vial of my blood. Even though you had a great night the night before, you'd be like, this is fucking weird. I would hope you would think that's weird.
Okay, so I dated this guy. Who, when I would go to his house, I would wear a certain shirt, and I wore Baccarat Rouge this entire summer, or like the Baccarat Rouge dupe perfume. It's nice.
That is nice.
And I wore it all summer, and when I would be like out of town or whatever, not around him, he confessed to me that he would put the shirt on a pillow and sleep with the pillow like hugged up with him.
Did you get the ick?
Yes. And then I stayed with him for like 4 more months.
Well, that's oh my god.
Listen, I convinced myself not to get the ick, honestly. Like, because I was like, this is insane, and maybe, like, I'm a very intense person, and to meet somebody else who I felt was matching my intensity, I was like, you know what? All right, I can get into it. Yeah, like, you're a real freak. But now,
too weird.
I feel like that would, like, really set me off, just knowing the road that takes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, like, it's like the romantic, like, intended romantic gesture still has to apply. Like, it has to be intentional. Yes. It also, like, some people have also taken that statement of, like, cute if you're into it, creepy if you're not, to mean, like, you'll put up with bad behavior from anybody. Like, it means you'll put up with, like, oh, if they're hot, you'll put up with them being an asshole. Like, I remember, I think it was, of course, it's in the TikTok comment section, like, the whole stupid little body count debate that the kids get into, where I was saying, like, this isn't a normal question people sit down and ask. Like, that would be a weird thing to do. And then, of course, some, like, kids chime in and be like, well, hot guys ask it, so now everyone asks it. People are okay with it when hot guys do it. It's like, no. Like, faux pas being an asshole. Like, I mean, is there some sort of element in dating of, like, oh, if you're more into somebody, like, you let a little bit more slide, but, like, no, it doesn't mean, like, you get to be being an asshole. Right. It's about the cute if you're creepy or you're into it, creepy if you're not, is about
also,
gestures.
For me, and I don't know if this is, like, a weird shallow thing or if it's gonna get some kind of backlash, but for me, like, hotness and kind of, like, social status or social awareness, like, have to go hand in hand. Because there are plenty of quote unquote conventionally hot guys that are weird.
Oh,
like,
I agree.
Come off weird.
I
like,
agree.
Just
and that's
they
why
were
I say,
born
like,
with the face, but then they're like
fucking
off.
weird. Or like they have like a chip on their shoulder.
And most girls don't like them,
No,
so like dating them is not a flex. It's not like other girls want to be you. Everybody knows how weird this guy is.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing too, is like, of course, when you say like I'm attracted to this, like, guys just like a lot of them will just see like, oh, check box, like hot, like this and this, like it's not just like conventionally hot. It's like there's just something like we all know why people find, even if you don't find Pete Davidson attractive, I think most women understand why other women do if you don't find him attractive. I think he's pretty attractive.
I think he's hot.
Like, you can't explain why. Like, you can't, I mean, there's a few things where it's like, oh, he's funny, but there's something about him, like, it's the Riz. Like, it's just, like, it is how he walks, like, all of that. Like, it's just, like, the confident, like, you can't even explain it because it's so intangible.
Yes.
Like, I feel like men don't get that. Like, they're just kind of like, no, but it's not, like, blonde boobs, like, like, it's like...
Dude, you know what's so funny? There's a TikTok trend going on right now, and it's women putting on, like, the little mustache and goatee filter, and they're all, like, filming it and with the caption of, like, oh, I look like, and then this specific type of guy, and it's something very specific. It's like, oh, I look like the guy who's like waiting for the rock wall and doesn't want to talk to you or whatever. Or I look like the guy who's like mad that you served the kids before him, you know, that kind of thing. And there's so many different ones. And it's so funny because women are so like creative and they know every specific type of dude. And when they call it out, you know exactly the type of dude they're talking about.
One thing I've learned from the internet is I've never had a unique experience.
Right, I know. But at the same time, like, you know, I feel like it's so funny to just feel that connection. And then, but I saw another TikTok, this guy was talking about it. He's like, yeah, men can't really do that to women because they don't have that many categories. They don't have that many, like, they don't observe the specific types. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why I think the whole, like, box theory thing is bullshit. It's guys like, fuck first, figure it out later. Hot girl, go.
Yeah.
Like, girl hot. It's animalistic.
Go. Yeah.
Totally. Like, it's very, like, and when I think of people, like, in the push this, it's like you never actually talk to people. Like, guys who sit inside think that people categorize because all they have time to do is categorize because they're not outside in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, yeah, so the cute if you're creepy thing.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna hear
hot
from
guys
someone.
can totally be super creepy.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, and like that. But then if they're creepy, then they're not hot anymore. Like attraction and hot is like hot. It's not just looks.
Yeah.
So we're gonna hear from a guy basically asking about this: approaching in public, cute or creepy. So he says, a lot of advice I've been given lately amounts to just go for it or you miss all the shots you don't take. But I actually have a question. If you're at a bar, restaurant, or on the street, and some random guy comes up to you and asks you an introduction type question, are you open to having a conversation, or is that just something that's not okay in the current social environment? I have a lot of female friends who post a lot about how guys approaching them creeps them the hell out, but I don't know if that's just the default sort of position or if they're more cautious than most. A couple of disclaimers. I wouldn't approach someone who is obviously with another guy. I likewise wouldn't approach someone who looks busy on a mission, has headphones in, or is deliberately avoiding eye contact. I'd be less likely to approach someone in a group, although I can see why approaching someone who's on their own would be more alarming as well. In my approach, I'd be casual, friendly, and open to the response simply being, I'm not interested in talking to you, although women wouldn't know that last bit. That's the thing my friends keep saying. They're scared. A negative response from them will result in an angry response from the guy, so they'd rather not talk to anyone. And then finally, I'm, in my own estimation, above average looking. I'm no Brad Pitt, but I'm certainly no Deadpool either. So what do you think? Is being approached on the street by someone you don't know creepy?
Woo! Okay, there's so much to this one.
There's so much to unpack, and I think he wants a yes or no answer.
Ultimately, yes. I think it is creepy. Or no, I forget what the question was. But yes, I think it's creepy to... and I know that sucks, and I know nobody wants to hear that because it's not old-fashioned, and it limits your capabilities. But really, I'm going to be so honest. I know this, that I'm not the only one that does this. You kind of have to let her pick you first, and you will... know, or you should know, because she'll make a ton of eye contact with you. And a lot of times, like, she will hint at the interaction first. But if not, if she's not looking at you, or she glances at you and then looks away and is clearly not trying to look at you anymore, like, that's a no. That's a no. And I think if you're going to be the first one to say something, she needs to be in the milieu. Don't, like, go out of your way to approach someone who is like very far, who you just like saw from across the room and you thought she was hot, but she hasn't seen you yet. Like, it just takes you by surprise. Unfortunately, being approached by a man, like, you don't know what's on this man's mind. Like, as a woman, it happens all the time. Literally 2 days ago, I was sitting at the bar across the street from my house because I just needed to get out of the house. Headphones in. I'm drawing in my sketchbook. Sitting at a picnic table outside, way in the back corner. There was nobody else outside. It happened so many times where a man walked up and sat down and just expected me to take my headphones off and, like, start talking to them and, like, introduce himself to me and ask what I'm doing, what I'm drawing. Like,
that'd be annoying.
It is so... I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to. I mean, of course, I think he did mention that. Like, I would never approach somebody who has headphones in, looks busy, whatever. But I would say, like, if you're going to do it, make sure she's kind of in the same energy level as you are.
That's the thing, too. Because, like, when I first read this, because, like, it's not as simple as, like, you know, it's just cute or creepy, or if you thought he was hot, would this bother you or not? Like, it's not, like,
no, yeah.
What he described, too, like, is a wide range of situations. Like, there is a big difference between a bar, a restaurant, and on the street, and being approached on the street.
Yes.
And so, like, setting matters, obviously. Like, I think a bar is... like a safe, like I'm talking like their behavior, like a mix of setting and their behavior, like how approachable are they, like so I think like setting, like if it's a bar, like social setting, I think like a no-go would be, you know, obviously something where people are like moving quickly and whatnot. I think some gray areas, like, I mean, like the gym, the grocery store, those can all be kind of like gray areas where you have to look at behavior more. But like, bar, restaurant, on the street are very different environments. I think being approachable matters. Like he did state the obvious of like headphones in, being busy or on a mission, like stuff like that, or like not making eye contact, but like busy doesn't always look busy. So I think like it's kind of like taking those cues, and then also like don't approach someone who's like a captive audience, and like that can be either like you know, some guys it's like they'll go like because it's, you know, she's like working somewhere and she has to sit there and be nice to you. Oh my
God, do not approach and force your time, and like don't do that to somebody that's working. Bartender women, like I feel like pretty unanimously are annoyed by that guy that comes in all the time because she's clocked in and she can't leave, and you can just kind of like commandeer her attention whenever she has a spare moment, and she's ignoring you as much as she can. But I mean, I can't speak for all bartenders. I've never been a bartender, but like I know that, you know, there are people that do that like they know that you're stuck there.
Or like I think it also like applies to like if someone's waiting at the bus stop, like something where someone is in a stationary position, I feel like as well. Like, so someone that's like waiting at a bus stop, like you have to wait there for your bus. If someone comes and approaches you, like you can't exactly get up and leave and move around, like waiting for a bus, waiting for a train, like that kind of thing. Or like if you're like waiting for something or like in a specific area, it's like, cool, like now this person just came up and like got in my bubble. I can't exactly leave here. Like I think that's like another one.
You've heard about the brick heard round the world, right? The girl.
Oh, that one.
She posted a video from the hospital with basically half of her face super swollen, and she had said that she was standing at the bus stop, and a man approached her, asked for her number. She said no. It doesn't really matter how she said it, but he threw a brick at her. So like, you just don't know how somebody's going to respond. And yes, if you're standing there waiting for the bus and this guy's starting to kind of ramp up and get irate, it's like, okay, so I could, I don't know, run away, miss my bus, and potentially get chased by this man, or I can just kind of like hold my ground and like hope that the bus comes.
Exactly.
It's like, before you approach a woman, you have to understand how complicated it is for us to respond. Like,
exactly. And like, even if you're like the greatest guy in the world, like blame the Jeffrey Dahmers of the world for, you know, like that women being cautious.
Yeah, but it's like, even Jeffrey Dahmer, like that was in the 70s. I feel like, socially things have changed so much. Was that in the 70s? Maybe not. Maybe that was later on. But things have changed so much, and it's just like, I'm not necessarily afraid a man is going to like serial kill me, like lure me to his car and take me away. I'm just afraid he's gonna get angry and like cause a scene. I think it kind of goes past that, because I think like first, like how you approach these people matters. Like if you're going up and like randomly introducing yourself and you have no reason to, like, I mean, I think you can create reasons to talk to people, but if you go up to somebody and like stop them in their tracks because they don't look busy to you and say like, I think you're very beautiful, like, and you get in their way, like that's a bit much. Like I think like and I think like Rudy had like a great example where it's like, oh, what's it, like you're at a bar, it's like, oh, I like your shirt, or like, you know, what are you drinking, vodka soda? If they keep talking to you, like then you keep going into a conversation. Like that's healthy, that's organic. Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think that is lovely. The what's it, that was so genius of Rudy, thank you. Because the other like alternative that I have experienced is men coming up to me and just kind of sitting down and being like, hi, my name is blah, 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 shaking my hand. What's your name? How are you? What are you doing today? And it's like, it's this weird masked interaction where now if I say like, no, thank you, they're going to be like, whoa.
Well, because that's the thing too, is like,
get over yourself.
Yeah. Like they also like, you're putting someone in a position where it's like, you know they're coming up there to flirt with you, but they're not saying it, and then you have to be the rude person who just like didn't want to say hi.
Yeah, you have to be the rude bitch. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the other thing too about like not wanting to be the person that not wanting to make someone angry. I think it goes a step further, and like you don't want to be the person that like makes a person, or don't. I wrote it down.
How would you respond to that if a man comes up to you and does something like that? hi, my name is blah, 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 and just starts engaging you in conversation and you don't want to be the rude person, like, how do you respond?
I wouldn't like accuse them of anything, but I would probably say like, okay, like, hi. And then I would probably be like, yeah, like, so what's kind of the agenda? Like, I wouldn't be like, what's the agenda here? I'd probably say like, okay, like, you know, what brings you over here? Like, who are you here with?
Yeah.
Like,
I said, can I help you? Like I act concerned. I took my headphones off. I was like, can I help you with something? Is everything okay?
So I've kind of done that too, in a sense where like, I think another big one is like, don't, like, in the parking lots. Like, I think parking lots, like, if someone's on the way to their car, there's just something kind of scary about that. Yep. Like, for women, like, I would just say, like, parking lots, women going to the car, like, there's something scary about it, I think. Mm-hmm. But like, I had somebody where, and this was just like 2 months ago, I was in a relationship and everything. I had my headphones in, I was running into PetSmart, I think, to get something, and they were closed, or I was running into Ulta, and then they were closed. I was running back, and on my way in there, I see someone, and he looked like kind of like, I don't know if he was like a petitioner type looking person who like kind of looked like he was like waving at me at the corner of his eye, and I just kept going, and then when the store was closed, I turned back around to head to my car, and then he like was like waving, and like, because he's standing by the car.
Why do they wave?
Well,
so weird.
I like, in my mind, I'm like, oh, does he need someone to like jump his car? Like, because I was just like waving by the car. Like, I don't know. Like, that's maybe what I thought. And I pull out my headphone. I'm like, oh, is everything okay? And I think I said like, everything okay? And he's like, I just wanted to say you're really pretty. And I just said, oh, thank you. And I kept walking. He's like, and then he like, I saw him. I'm like, yeah, is everything okay? Because he's waving. And he's like, so do you want to maybe hang out sometime? And I was just like, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah.
No. But it was like, and the thing is like, that wasn't necessarily like creepy, but it didn't work. And it was also just kind of like awkward. Like, even like if I was single and it was like a guy that was like attractive, I would think the approach was just kind of weird and awkward. Like there was something about like the manner, like, just that would scream weird and awkward versus like confident. Yeah. Like,
if I were to hang out with you, it would be uncomfortable.
Yeah, like, just because it's also like, I feel like confident guys like don't feel the need to like flag somebody down. They're like another woman will come along. She's not special, is what a confident dude would think. Sure, like a guy who's like, please stop running. Like, please God, please take your headphone out. Like, or they wouldn't. Yeah, like it would be just a different kind of story in that regard. But yeah, like I think like, but yeah, to go back, I think beyond just like not reacting angrily that, you know, women are concerned about or don't want. I also think like not necessarily just like having an angry response, but just having this like uncomfortable passive aggressive response. Like no one wants to like it ruins my day to have to be like have to feel like an asshole or have to feel like bad for somebody that I didn't intend to like talk to, that approached me. Like if you have to be the person to come up to me, like, yeah, like if someone says like, hey, first off, like rejection, because he says if someone says, oh, like I'm not interested in talking to you, I would turn around and walk away. A lot of people don't like to reject that way. Like a lot of people when they're approached,
rejection sucks for men and women. Like, yeah, men are not the only ones who get rejected. I get rejected all the fucking time. Yeah, because
like it's not just like if you go talk to a woman, she's not interested in talking to you. Like the likelihood that she's gonna say I'm not interested in talking to you, please move on, is very low. Like it's more likely she's gonna like give you short answers and hope you get the hint. So you have to like understand those hints. Like you can't just linger there and be like, oh, she hasn't run off and told me to fuck off. Like she's still here. No, that's not how it works. So like that you have to have social and self-awareness, and then like on top of that, like, yeah, don't react angrily, but also don't do sad man shit. Like don't say like, why? Like, can I have some feedback? Like, no.
Sad man shit.
Like, or be like, oh, like, or like if she gives a soft no, don't be like, so are you not interested? Like, you have to like take it in stride and move on. You can also like, something I've done, and maybe this is delusion, I call this healthy delusion, where like, if you get a soft no, just telling yourself it's whatever lie you made up in your head. Oh, maybe they were too busy. Like, as long as you, as long as it doesn't,
what'd you call it? Soft delusion?
Healthy delusion.
Healthy delusion. No, I love that.
As long as it doesn't keep you on the hook or like acting, it doesn't make you like a pompous jackass. I think that's actually healthy versus being like wallowing in pain, being like, oh, you know what? Yeah, he was too busy. Oh, he wasn't ready for a relationship.
Don't take anything personally. It's not one of the 4 agreements. Don't take anything personally. Like people the benefit of the doubt, assume they are doing the best that they can. Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
You never know what's going on in anyone's head, and if you get those, responses, just telling yourself they were busy or they had something going on.
Because the honest truth is, most of the time it is something like that, and the more times that you accumulate, like, I've been rejected and they didn't give me a reason, so it must have been because I'm ugly. Like, that will start to chip away at you. That will weigh you down, and most of the time it's not true. So. Don't internalize that. Yeah.
Exactly. I agree. We have another mailbag. It's all about the cute versus creepy.
Cool.
This one is mailbag around bringing soup when sick. Oh shoot, I had text screenshots that I didn't send you. So this is bringing soup when sick. I, 25 female, was 3, almost 4 dates in with a guy, but woke up feeling sick the morning of our 4th date. I texted the guy to let him know, and he replied, initially offering to bring over soup or ginger ale. I declined, saying I'd be fine, just for him to get persistent. After I reiterated no, he sent what felt like passive-aggressive text that implied he thought I was lying. See screenshots. After this interaction, I have mixed feelings on if I should reach back out. On one hand, the whole conversation felt so neggy and made me a little uncomfortable. Someone I barely know couldn't take a very simple cancellation at face value. At the same time, I wonder if his feelings were just hurt around me declining soup, or if my cancellation sounds like BS. I know faking sick is the oldest trick in the book, but I thought mine was friendly, and I really did intend to circle back once I'd recovered. But obviously, he didn't know that. So who did wrong here? Should I reach back out? And the texts, I'll, read them through. It's kind of fun to do, little reader's theater, but I don't know if the text will. Where the fuck is this text? Oh. Yeah, so she texts him saying, morning, sorry to do this, but I really feel like I'm coming down with the flu or something, need to cancel the date. Would love to see you soon. Can I get back to you for a reschedule? He says, bummer, that's fine. How about I bring you over some soup or ginger ale tonight? She says, oh, that's sweet. Appreciate the gesture, but I should be good. I can fend for myself. He says, are you sure? She says, yep, don't want to put you out or anything either. He says, it's no problem. I insist. Would love to see you, even if for a little. And she says, I appreciate the gesture, but would really prefer to take care of myself this time around. I look gross and have plenty of soup and emergency I can make. Thanks for understanding. Then he puts the laughing face. Are you too sick and gross or quote unquote fine? If I didn't like you so much, I'd think you were coming up with an excuse. She writes, I am sick, period. I am also able to move about the house and take care of myself. Again, thank you for understanding. And he just says, okay, sure, laughing face emoji, feel better, LOL.
See, I hear something like this, and I'm glad that you read the text, because when you just told the story, I was kind of like, oh, it sounds if he's neggy, you just probably don't want it, whatever. But hearing this, if it were me and I were really into this guy, and I really was coming down with something on the day of our 4th date, my first text would not sound like that. Yeah. That made it sound like she just gave away too little information. It sounded like it was a generalized, non-truth, honestly. And I mean, maybe that's just who she is, and she doesn't really text like that or needs to get into that, but I would hit up a man and be like, dude, and I know she said something about, can I get back to you for a reschedule? That, I've been, told that before and ghosted. So if I really like this man and I did really want to, go on a 4th date with him, my text would sound different. It would be much more like, dude, I am so sorry. I'm so sick right now. I really, I'm trying to get better, but, I think I, ate something, or I have no idea what it is. I'd give him some symptoms. I'd be honest, and I'd be like, I really, really want to see you. Please don't think that I'm, doing this on purpose, because... But maybe that's, a societal, women feel like they have to do that, feel like they have to over-explain. Maybe you shouldn't have to, I don't know, but if I wanted to see somebody again and I didn't want them to think I was lying, I would over-explain a little bit. Yeah, because I feel like I see that 100%, because it felt very boilerplate, cancellation. Yeah, it kind of did.
You cut and paste. It kind of
sounded like I don't really want to do this tonight.
Yeah, I think there's also there's some self-awareness and social awareness where it's people know that people use sick as a reason and stuff. So I think it's there is sort of that, and this isn't a gendered thing. This isn't women always have to prove themselves. I think it's if you really are sick, you kind of have to give some more context. Otherwise, you sound hell, I'm sick, or my 5th grandma just died.
Totally.
I need an out. So I think her response sent that kind of message, or her initial message. At the same time, though, I'm kind of because I think remember we talked about weaponized cooking when Kevin was here. it was like when people want to like they invite you over instead of saying a real date like, oh hey, I'll cook for you at my place.
Yeah.
And it's like secretly like more it's less about the, you know, oh I want to be sweet and cook you a meal, and it's more about like, oh like I don't have to take you out. We're at my house, we're closer to my bedroom. Like there's sort of like an ulterior motive disguised as something sweet.
Sure.
Like I feel like with the bring you soup and stuff like that, like there's something like about it where it's like, you know, like either it feels like either a mix of like trying to see for yourself if they're actually sick, like like they can't pull a fast one on me, or it's like you're trying to go and like see somebody or like have like a way to see someone while they don't want to be seen. In a
what
way,
did he say? Did he say I want to see you even if just for a second, or did he say I would love to see you?
I think he said I think he said I would love to see you. Like, so I think it's a mix, because like I personally think like if you really wanted to make it nice, like you would be okay with dropping it off on the porch or like sending it as delivery. Like it wouldn't be about seeing the person, because I also think too like there's a bar for sick that like that applies to dates that I don't think applies to something like work or something like that. Like I think like because I think on a date you want to be like the best version of yourself. You want to be a fun date for somebody. Like if you're not like, I don't think too sick to go on a date means like you're falling over and dying. It just means like you're not going to be miserable. You would be too miserable to be there. Like, so I think like this idea that like the bar for sick is like, you know, she has to be too sick to get out of bed and needs someone to cook soup for her. Otherwise,
or she's on a date with someone else.
Yeah.
Like she's out of the house.
Yeah.
You know?
Like it seems like it's like an attempt to be like, oh, like, are you really sick?
Yeah.
So I sort of get that vibe, like, because of like the repeated text and the insisting. Like, I think it is sweet to just kind of be like, oh, like, do you need anything? Because it's also like, what else do you say? Like, you want to say something nice to your date that canceled, like, oh, are you okay? Like, can I bring you something? And like a lot of times people say that and don't mean it. Like if someone was like, oh yeah, I'd be down for some soup, they'd be like, what the fuck? No, we're not. I didn't actually mean it. Like,
yeah.
So I think the insisting and kind of being like, oh really, are we really sick here, is a little weird.
Dating is so hard because I'm a little split on this still, you know, like I'm a little bit crazy. So if I went on 4 dates with somebody and I really like them, and then they kind of hit me with like the morning of that we had been looking forward to, ooh yeah, sorry, I'm sick, can't make it tonight, ciao. Then I'm like, I kind of want to drive by their house and see if their car is there and see if they're fucking lying to me or not. Honestly,
I think there's more context needed in this too, because it's like if it was like a date, like it's also like we've all like not. I think we're all capable of doing like not to.
You just don't want to get deceived. I feel like it's
none of us want. Yeah, it's like
you don't want to get deceived. You don't want to look stupid.
Yeah, none of us want to do like sad man shit. But sometimes it's like, no one's going to pull a fast one on me this time. Like, I think we're all capable.
You're going on a date with a girl tonight, and then tomorrow you're going to be all better, and you're going to go on a date with me, and I'm going to look like an idiot.
This person's a lot like, this person's getting away with a lie, and I'm just putting up with it. Like, no one wants to be that person.
Totally,
where it's like,
that's exactly what it is.
I'm just sitting here and like letting them get away with this lie, like giving them this out, like just not like I'm going to roll over and just let them walk all over me. And like, I think there's a lot of people with that, especially like, I don't know how old these people are. Or wait, I think she said how old they were. I don't know how old this guy is, but like people who've been, you know, single, it's like you just kind of have that chip on your shoulder of like, they're not going to fool me this time.
Typical.
Yeah.
They're not going to fool me. Oh yeah, totally. I definitely have a chip on my shoulder. That's a really hard thing to let go of. If you are not a self-aware person too, if you're not like a developed person, that shit calcifies and it gets worse and worse. Like that's the type of thing you need therapy for somebody to be like, you're blowing this up in your head and it's really not like this out there, you know? In some ways I do understand like the building resentment towards the opposite gender when shit like this happens, and it makes you feel bad every time. It makes you feel stupid to the point where you're like, your walls are so far up, you're like, I'm not gonna let it happen again. And
then you end up doing
you end up being a dickhead, and not doing, and it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So exactly.
No, because that's how it feels. I guess before we close, before we close things out, because I kind of talked about like the weaponized cooking. I think there's kind of an umbrella of like weaponized kindness in a way.
For sure.
And maybe that wasn't in this situation, because I feel like this was very benign. I feel like there's more, like, it was a very short conversation, like, but there was sort of that, like, inkling in the back of my mind of, like, okay, insisting on bringing somebody soup when they say they're sick, and, like, I want to see you, like, kind of thing, like, do you think there's other gestures like that are, you know, disguised as kind that really have, like, a selfish or ulterior motive?
That's, like, the whole crux of, like, cult recruitment. Is let me provide for you who, you know, you like, I'm gonna find what parts of your life you're vulnerable in, and fill those spaces, and like act like it's a kind gesture, but like you will feel the inherent need, or you will feel inherently that you owe me something. And that's when you kind of like start to pull them in more and more, and like sink your talons in, and then it's harder for them to leave. Like, yes, absolutely, I think that's very much a thing. Love bombing with like gifts and stuff.
Okay, but what is the line for love bomb? Because people throw the term love bombing around a lot, and like they'll just be like, "Oh, they were really nice to me at first, and then they cooled off." And like, I'm like, that's not really love bombing.
No. I think love bombing really does involve like, weaponized kindness, being way too overly kind, way too helpful, way too much there, providing, like a guy in the friend zone. He can still love bomb to the point where he's like trying profusely to give you absolutely everything, give you gifts, like fill every need. But there is this like, she's going to owe me at the end. And if she doesn't do it on her own, I'm going to remind her, I'm going to bring it up, and it's going to be a discussion, and then it's going to be an argument. And it's like, yeah, I don't like receiving gifts like that, honestly.
Oh, me either. Yeah. I think weaponized kindness is different, because like I think weaponized kindness is like, it looks cute on the surface if you describe it one way, like it's like, oh, I'm gonna cook, let me cook for you, and then of course if you want to be like, hey, no, I'd rather go out, then you become the spoiled brat who wants to go out for dinner. Or it's like, oh, like, let me bring you soup, and if you're declining it, it's like, okay, like, rude, I'm offering to bring you soup, and like your ulterior motive is kind of like, I want to make sure they're not faking it.
Let me pick you up and drive you.
Yes.
And now you're stuck with me. Yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. Or like where the goal is something else disguised as kind, and that way if like someone declines, then they look like the spoiled asshole.
Yeah, it always just honestly comes down to safety. Like, and I think that's really hard to get through to a lot of men who do feel that like resentment, that like it isn't personal usually. Like, it's just a matter of, I don't want to get put in a situation where I get yelled at, I feel bad, he insults me, whatever, I've wasted my time, I'm stuck feeling uncomfortable, or much worse, he tries to hurt me, he doesn't let me go home, like stuff like that. So it really, like, a man can come off sweet as pie and like can flip on a dime. So it's really just like you're dipping your toes in and easing yourself into things before you start to trust this man. So it's not, it's not girls being a bitch when they're like, actually, could you like, I'll take an Uber, or you can send an Uber, or whatever. It's a safety thing.
Oh, totally. And I totally agree. And I think sometimes like guys don't worry about safety the way women do.
No.
Like, there's never going to be like, and I'm not a fan of like double standards or whatever, but just that's kind of a fact. Like, when a guy goes on a date and he sits down, there is no fear in the back of your mind, like, that the person across from you can physically overpower you.
Totally.
Like, it's just like,
definitely.
It's just not, and like, I think, safety being kind of the lowest point on like the Maslow hierarchy of needs, like it's important. Like, feeling safe is important.
Yeah, totally.
And people don't know if you're safe or not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I guess before we go, what is kind of like the creepiest dating moment that you've had in recent history?
The creepiest? Oh man. I think I might have talked about it on one of the other podcasts. This was a date that I went on, a quote unquote date that I went on, like right before I started dating my ex again. But it was this dude, and it was this same shit. I'm stupid, okay? I'm cavalier about my safety apparently, but it was like he was like, yeah, we can meet at my house, we'll smoke some weed, and then we'll go over to Barton Springs, or I'll cook you dinner, blah blah blah. And I was in this like phase of my life where I was like, I'm doing nothing but chill ass dates. I don't want to go on a fancy date. Like, if he just wants to kick it and smoke weed, like, that's my style for sure. And then I get there, there's a weird misunderstanding on his part. I understand completely, but like, there's a misunderstanding about where to meet. So I'm at his house waiting for him for like 15 minutes. He finally gets there, gets out of the car, looks nothing like I remember, looks very different from how I remember, his body, face, everything. And he's like, yeah, this is my house. I've been here for a year exactly today. Front yard's overgrown, looks like shit. Opens the door, lets me in. It's a trap house. 100% it's a trap house. And then, of course, he admits to me that he sells weed and he launders it by selling sea moss. And the backyard's a wreck. This man has not cleaned this house in a year. People come over to do drugs here, I can tell. And then we were in the kitchen. He made me have a spoonful of sea moss. He forced me to eat it. It was disgusting. And his fridge was disgusting. Oh my God. And then he made some comment about sea moss being an aphrodisiac.
Oh, no.
And then he's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And I was like, I got to get out of here now. It was so unbelievably creepy. And this was the first time in my life that I have ever, like, a few years ago, I might have been like, I don't want to be rude. I guess I'll sit on this disgusting couch with him for like a little bit longer so he doesn't feel bad. Nope. But he came out of the bathroom and I was like, I'm actually going to leave. It looks like you haven't cleaned this place in a year. I really just didn't expect that you lived like this.
Damn.
And I marched my ass out and I left. It was fucking crazy. I could not believe I did that.
I'm sorry. If anyone said like when people get too sexual too quickly with anything, I am out. Because that means
immediately.
It means if someone, wherever they start it sexual, it's only going to get more sexual. So if there's like a DM, if there's anything where it starts sexual, it's only going up from there.
Right? Ugh, it's so true.
They need to go to horny jail.
Horny jail.
Bonk. Go to fucking horny jail. Yeah. That was a good story. Thank you for sharing.
You're so welcome. I have so many creepy man stories, but I don't want to.
We'll share them next time around.
Okay,
We had a good one today.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me.
Of course. Thank you so much.
All right. Love you guys. We'll talk to you next time.
Ciao.
Catch you on the flip side. Boop.
You need a little...
Why doesn't it turn off?
Don't know.
Hello. Yeah, it's not turning off.
Oh, weird. See it?
Thank you.
Do it manually.
How long is this thing? I just we just need to do this next.